Welcome back to another episode of the Skyriver Cantina with
Dan the Man
and Zenrose. We're talking about the Rise of Skywalker. This is part 2. If you haven't listened to part 1, go check that out. We're gonna have spoilers if you haven't seen the movie.
Basically, it's more like Disney's half its own and half Lucas's Return of the Jedi.
It reminds me of Goonies.
The Goonies?
Yeah.
The Goonies was good. Don't try to associate them two. Alright. The Goonies is freaking sacred.
Yeah, but in the movie, it worked. But trying to make the Goonies in Star Wars, that doesn't really work. It worked for the movie. Get what I'm saying?
I mean, their whole thing was to get the gold off of the pirate ship.
Okay, but, with the dagger?
Right. So, they got a chunk of metal with Sith Road on it, saying that this is where you find the holocron.
And see,
like it's been there for like hundreds of years or something, and they need to have that shit encoded.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Like I'm saying, it's only like
and you
30
have to stand
years.
in a specific spot and hold it in a specific way to find out where it's at.
Yeah.
That's just, what the fuck? What if she was just standing like 3 feet?
To the left?
Yeah. And just held it up,
Yeah, it wouldn't line up.
She'd be going in a different fucking spot.
It was pretty stupid. Like, they were trying to make it like some adventure of like some ancient ruins, but the shit's like 30 years old.
Yeah.
And honestly, that shit should have been scrapped.
All of that should have been scrapped. Or for the majority of, like, the inside.
Yeah.
Unless they're, like, it's too evil to be around. Which it, like...
Scrappers do not...
Yeah, a lot of people don't give a fuck about that.
That's big money. Like...
I would have scrapping the hell out of that.
Yeah.
Because you could find some, like... some pricey shit. Especially if it's in the Death Star.
It was... They're gonna have... There's gonna be weapons on there. Like blasters. There's gonna be all kinds of circuits and wires and...
Yeah, there was helmets and shit still on the ship. And dead bodies. Well, I think there were bodies. Honestly, they should have gotten ate by animals and rodents. For like 30 fucking years, they just been sitting there.
Well,
And it's wet, too. It's been dripping water for 30 years, I guess. Unless it just rained.
It's a wreck. In the ocean. On a planet that doesn't have oceans. So, I mean, anything is possible at that point.
Well, I guess it's a... Well, is it? Yeah, it's an ocean. It's vast water.
Okay, if it's not, it's like a lake at least the size of Great Lakes or whatever, but it's... At that point, anything's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, we got Rey just blasting things with Force lightning. We got Force bonds where you can friggin' hand things back and forth. We got and affect things around you, and the other people, it'll go through the Force onto the other side where the other person's at. And all this stuff. like Jedi mind tricking somebody when you don't even know how to do it.
Yeah.
So I mean, at this point,
I think they're just going all out.
that's just minute details of it.
Okay, well, before we go too far ahead in the movie, you said you wanted to talk about the Rey and Kylo fight.
Okay, so before they get to finding the holocron, like Kylo knows where she would go to try to find the holocron because he's read the dagger.
Yeah.
Because he had it. She had to go get the dagger. Well, when they went to go onto onto his ship, so they could rescue Chewie because they found out that he was alive. She sensed him through the Force.
Yeah.
Go on, rescue Chewie. Poe and Finn go after Chewie because she says, "You guys gotta go. I gotta go get the dagger because we're gonna need it." And she takes off. And Finn once again is like, "You can't just do it." And Poe's like, Chewie. He stops him. He's like, "We gotta get Chewie." And so he's like, "Oh, okay, whatever."
Yeah.
So they go and get Chewie, and they get through their blaster fights and everything, and they get captured. And then you have the whole thing with Hux, where, he blasts the 3 stormtroopers and tells them he's the spy and leads them to the Millennium Falcon. But then, while that is kind of happening, Rey and Kylo have a Force bond thing happen because she picks up the dagger and she senses this evil that had happened with it. And then she sees a vision of her mother and her father being killed with it on the ship that was on the planet. That they went there and found the dagger. Right? And, Luke had previously been there looking for this man to find the clue. And it's that ship. It's just, it's just...
Yeah, it's a big galaxy in
these things, yeah.
And they just line up like that.
Yeah, it's just, and Lando comes out of nowhere and just shoots the stormtrooper in the eye.
Yeah.
With a freaking crossbow. A crossbow. Lando with a crossbow. We know Lando. Lando is dressed to the nines. Like he is fashion accessory Gucci, baby. You think that he's gonna use a damn crossbow?
Oh, no, he could be old and not caring. Well, he still gets dressed up in the movie.
Old? It's harder to use a crossbow when you're old because you actually gotta have the strength to pull that thing back and latch it into place to put the bolt on it.
Well, that's why he only shot once. Probably had somebody else do it just to shoot him once.
But, I'm getting a little sidetracked. So, she has that vision, and it's kind of been getting stronger, their bond, right? And they've been able to interact more and more across it.
Yeah.
Because he was able to snatch the necklace off of her chest to even figure out what planet they were on.
Yeah.
So, she's up there in his quarters. He's down on the planet looking for her. He knows she's close, but he doesn't know where.
Yeah.
And so, then she sees that vision, and then they start talking. Doing their talking thing. And then they start fighting with the lightsabers. Because now they know that they can kind of go back and forth a little bit, so they start fighting with the lightsabers, actually. Here's my thing. One, Kylo should have known where she was at because she's holding the dagger the entire fight. It's in her hand. It's something you're going to notice in your opponent's hands when you're fighting. You're going to observe their entire body as you're fighting. As a matter of fact, you don't want to look somebody directly in the face when you fight them. You want to actually usually watch their hip region because everything comes from the core.
Yeah.
So it can give you a lead. Like even if they're just going to swing with their arm, the core tends to tense and stuff right as that goes to happen, because the body's got to prepare to be able to do that, generally. So a lot of times they'll teach you to do that. But, I mean, you're sitting there looking at her, and she's not, like, really trying to hide it too much. Like, it's down and kind of, you know, behind or whatever.
He has a whole mask, you know.
Yeah, but the thing is...
He can't see a whole lot.
No, he can see just fine in that. But the thing with that is that dagger is visible. Like, when he starts talking to her, he's looking at her, and she's still holding the dagger up. She turns around, and it's in her hand. And you can see her and the things that she directly interacts with. So you can see the dagger in her hand.
Yeah.
And you don't realize at that point that she's in your quarters? No, he don't. They start fighting. And so they're fighting with the lightsabers.
Yeah. How does that look?
Like they hit like things around them. Well, so what Disney does is, like, it has it where, like, okay, like part of it, like when you're going from more of Rey's point of view in the fight, you know, it'll be they're in his quarters on the Star Destroyer.
Yeah, but in both places, are they both there fighting?
Yes, but not.
Okay. I was just
so like they're both on the planet and they're both in the Star Destroyer, but they're not.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is that the movie kind of has to do it that way, but really what it is she's seeing him in her environment and he's seeing her in his environment.
I was just thinking that if they can't see the
surrounding area of the other one,
well,
you see.
Like a bystander couldn't see the Force Ghost.
No, they wouldn't be able to see because it's not a Force Ghost either. It's something different than that, because there's an actual person.
It's like teleportation type dealio.
But so it's a way more than what a Force Bond should be able to do. What they're doing, but Disney took the time with the Force Bond to basically make it seem like it's going to grow and get stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger to where they got to that point where they could interact. Like, that's why I said they did have a structure to it, and it wasn't just something that it could just happen. Like, no, they did that one right. As they first were interacting, they didn't really know, and Kylo's trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And, you know, he slowly figures it out more and more throughout the 3 movies and gets it figured out. And so they're fighting. And so, like, when they hit something with the lightsaber in their environment. So, like, Kylo's on the planet. He hits something with, like, red beans or something in it. And it spills and goes everywhere on the ground. Well, that actually slides through onto the Star Destroyer's floor for Rey to see.
Yeah.
Because it was something that was that close to their proximity as their bond that it was able to cross through the Force to their side. So not everything, so like something a few feet away that they're not interacting in can cross through. But the things that they interact with physically at that time through the bond will cross through. So then they keep fighting, and then he blocks something or whatever, and she ends up smashing the stand that had Vader's mask. And Vader's mask falls down to the ground, and then Kylo realizes where she's at, that she's in his quarters. And that's all he needed. And then she takes off, and the Force bond breaks, you know. But the thing with it is Kylo should have known where she was at, because she's not flashing the dagger like, oh, I got the dagger, right? But it's very poorly hidden. It's in her hand the entire time.
Yeah.
Okay, so to not notice the dagger is...
Maybe he wasn't really focused on that.
No, Kylo Ren was paying attention every time they had one of those. He was paying attention to every detail that he could possibly get. I mean, from the very beginning, he's asking, "Can you see around me?"
Yeah.
Because I can't see around you. I just see only you. And he slowly, and then like with the ocean and the salt on his glove, like he is paying attention for every fucking detail. And so you're going to tell me he's not going to notice the dagger in his hand, and it takes the helmet getting smashed off the pillar to fall down? No, Disney just wanted them to have a force fight with their lightsabers through the force and have something dramatic. That's why.
Well, he's wearing all black in a desert. Alright, he's hot.
Then he's not in a desert now. He's in the village on that one planet where they had to go to get C-3PO's
yeah, but that's still a desert planet.
Not the one where C-3PO got his mind hacked. That was a whole different planet.
Oh.
They left the desert planet, went to a different planet, had his mind hacked, and then were leaving that planet so they could get back to the Resistance. So they could go to the planet where the treasure was, the holocron.
Couldn't C-3PO just navigate them there?
No.
Well, yeah, he couldn't translate it, but he can...
He's not, permitted to screw with it at all. It's just in there, and that's where it's at, unless you get in there and hack it out. That's literally what it is. And he fucked himself on that one, because he mentioned it.
Yeah.
But that C-3PO, he can't help it, he just does that. So that was with that part. Right? Now, I'm going to skip ahead because...
Hold on. First off, how does the fucking shields work for the hangers? Because Rey was, right in the force field area, standing right on the edge. Wouldn't that zap her?
No.
How do those work? Because
those are an atmospheric shield that keeps in, and they described it once in the X-Wing series, and it allows people and ships to go through, but it holds in the pressure of the ship to keep it pressurized.
Yeah.
And holds in the air. It doesn't hold in the heat. So hangars are usually really cold. So having a fight scene in a hangar in space, I don't really see it, because hangars are generally really kind of cold, technically, because it says multiple times that it don't hold in the heat. In different story stuff, it doesn't hold in the heat.
Yeah.
Those shieldings. But it does keep in the atmosphere and the cabin pressure, basically. But people can go through it. Ships can go through it, droids can go through it, all that. And actually, they put the Falcon inside of that shield barrier enough that she'd be able to get on without going into space. Because technically, if she went into space, she should die. Well, you cross that barrier, bitch, and you're dead.
Leia's gonna die.
Yeah, I know, because apparently you could just not die in space. Just like, I'm just gonna skip ahead just a little bit. Well, it's actually, it's a little bit ahead. Rey and Kylo have their lightsaber battle. She stabs him with a lightsaber. Qui-Gon Jinn gets stabbed with a lightsaber.
Yeah.
One time a guy gets stabbed with a lightsaber and dies. Everybody else gets slashed in half with a lightsaber. He didn't die. Okay, alright, whatever. Darth Maul didn't die. They brought him back. Whatever, okay. So then Disney just decides to run with a one-off and decide that if you get hit with a lightsaber, you can just live, and that's just the way it is. No. It is a deadly wound. That shit went through Kylo Ren's liver. He is gonna die. Okay, but she heals him. Heals him. Okay, so that's acceptable. But how does she know how to do that? Nobody taught her how to do that. So she could just do it. So now she's just like Cade Skywalker, bringing people back from the freaking dead.
Some Jedi are just gifted with some abilities.
Yeah, but they still don't fully know how to do it, and it takes time and training.
She does have the books better. She does have the Jedi text. She could have been studying up on that.
I guess, yeah, she might have. Okay, alright, fine. Ruin my rant. Ruin my rant. Shoot it down.
She got like 7 books.
I mean, all of the stuff was in it, though. Apparently.
And 7 books. Had all that information.
I mean, apparently.
Fucking, I don't think so.
It's flimsy plas, dude. Maybe the pages are super thin. And there's way more pages than what we think is in there. So it's like a book like this thick, but really it's like a book like this thick inside the book that's this thick.
I guess some Doctor Who shit.
But I mean, you know, you can do anything with the Force, but I'm sure that only, you know, certain things have actually been figured out on how to do with the Force.
Yeah.
You know? So, like, this is the base instruction manuals from what people have already figured out. But, so she stabs him with the lightsaber, and then she's like, oh, Leia. And then she's like, well, I can't let Kylo die because Leia is dying, and this and that. So then she heals Kylo, and then takes off in his ship because it had the holocron in it or whatever. She wanted to get away or some shit. And then she goes to the Jedi planet, and then she destroys the friggin' ship. Okay, that makes a lot of fucking sense. Oh, wait. I'm Palpatine's granddaughter. Bullshit.
What?
That's the reason why she ran to the Jedi planet and was going to seclude herself like...
Jedi planet?
Yeah, where Luke was originally.
Oh.
But Kylo has his little, like, Force vision with his father.
Yeah, well, kinda.
It's kind of like a memory, but it's kind of like a Force memory. He's not like a full Force ghost, but he's there.
Well, he can't be a Force ghost, because he just...
Everything exists with Force.
Yeah,
so, yes, anything can be a Force ghost.
Yeah, but like...
Technically. But the Force... He is part of the Force, and he's having a memory, and the dad's like, well, he has a memory. He's like, it's a memory, you know, Han's like saying. But it's a Force memory. It's not just like a regular memory. That's why Han has his own, like, thoughts and stuff to the little conversation they have. It's a memory, but it's a memory assembled off of Han, and then the Force kind of brings some of Han's spirit to it to make the memory real for Kylo to have his moment to turn light side again and then throw his lightsaber away. Like, that lightsaber is what turned you Sith or something. Like, gee, Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
There's a reason why this annoys me. Because then he's running around later with a blaster, and he runs into the Knights of Ren. And he starts having his little fight with the Knights of Ren. And this is...
Yeah, and they got Leia's lightsaber.
This is the last... Yes, but I'm just going through the Force Spawn stuff. So this is the last Force Spawn moment that's about to happen. So he's having the fight with the Knights of Ren. She's having her fight with the guards around Palpatine. And then... Or not yet. She hasn't had the fight with the guards around Palpatine, but she and him have a Force Spawn moment while he's fighting the Knights of Ren. And they all just stop and look at him as he's kind of crouched. Like,
yeah, they did stop for a while.
And just wait. Like, you guys aren't going to kill him? Like, what's going on? Like, I don't understand that. That's kind of dumb. Yeah. That's not practical at all. That's plot armor all day. But, so then... They were having their fight and everything, and then Rey and him have that moment, and they now know that they can interact, you know.
Yeah, they can move stuff to
And so, she puts her hand up here behind her head, and he puts his hand up there behind his head, and then basically she gives him the lightsaber, and then he has the lightsaber now, and all the knights are like that, and he's like, come on then. Like, you wanted to try to kill me when I didn't have a blade, try to kill me now. Like, and so they're fighting, and then Kylo, here's one of them that it makes the fight scene really fake, besides the fact that they just stopped attacking him for a minute so they could have this force bond thing.
Yeah.
Okay? He turns around and swings his lightsaber up behind his back. And he stands there for a second. And then the guy swings his weapon and it glances off his lightsaber. Like, for real. He whips around and puts it up behind his back. And it takes a second before the guy swings his, like, he's holding it there, 1001, and then the dude swings and glances off the lightsaber, 1002, and then Kylo Ren moves again with his, and pulls the lightsaber out. He just, like, literally stands there with it behind his back like that. Why is the guy attacking him gonna just all of a sudden decide, oh, I'm just gonna hit the lightsaber? You got this dude with his back to you.
Maybe he's going really fast.
No. You got this guy with his back to you with a lightsaber like that. His legs are fully exposed. His side is fully exposed. Like, that lightsaber just doesn't automatically draw weapons to it. Like, it don't work that way.
But that's kind of how it is in a lot of the movies.
It's just plot armor.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. It's just plot armor. But the thing with that is that really annoyed me. That was a cool moment that they could have had with him whipping the lightsaber behind his back like that and blocking a blow. But they had the timing horrible.
Well, they had
it was too long of a moment. Too long of a moment that made it unrealistic.
Well, they had moments that could have been good, but they weren't. Like, some moments in the movie...
Like that whole thing with the Force Bond and handing the lightsaber, now bam, he's got a lightsaber. That would, like, shake up the Knights of Ren. Like, holy crap.
Yeah.
But the thing is to have the whole, like, slow moment. Like, if one of the knights were talking to him while it was happening, I could see it. Like, you know, if one of the knights were telling him to just surrender and accept his death as, you know, like a failure to the Knights of Ren and the Sith and everything. You know, if one of them was talking to him and then he just was ignoring them and put his hand up there and then came out with the lightsaber, that would have been a different story. It would have made it more realistic for having the pause, other than we're just going to have the pause to give him his lightsaber.
Yeah, they're just standing around him.
And then after that, he blocks a freaking an attack that with a lightsaber behind his back like that when he's bent over slightly, and the dude has plenty of time to decide to aim at a different spot than just the lightsaber, and he hits it. Like, there was a cool moment right there where they could have had that, and it could have been awesome, but they screwed it up. Like, it wasn't practical for the pause. It wasn't practical for that block. It would have been like harkening back to Anakin and Obi-Wan when they fight, you know, with the lightsaber up behind the back to block a blow.
Yeah.
You know, it would have been, that's what it would have went to. But in those movies with them, it happened like it should. Quick, fast, actual battle. Like it's supposed to. Not boom, 1001, 1000, bink, blade block, 1003, 1000, now I move again. Like, no. It was screwed up. They screwed it up.
Yeah.
Which ruined that whole little thing for the whole buildup of that Force Bond deal and getting the lightsaber to have this epic battle with them while she's having another one with Leia's lightsaber. Like, they should have had some dialogue in there with his knights, because he's one of the Knights of Ren, and I'm pretty sure he's probably the leader of them. They should have had some dialogue with his knights or something to justify some of the pausing and some of the stuff. With her, they didn't really need it, because obvious, you know, she's now got a different lightsaber. It's clear that she's not trying to kill him, and she just helped somebody and, you know, like, attack her. Like, there's no need for that there. But with him, there is. Because that's his Knights of Ren. You know, that's his. That's his men that he always has with him when he wants to go out on crazy-ass missions. So, like, give us what should be there.
Oh, what is Rey's fucking What is she trying to do? Is she trying to kill Palpatine? Because she can't kill Palpatine, because then his soul will go into her.
If it's done with the hate, so if it's done with the hatred and the anger,
intention.
yes, her intention changed. She did kill Palpatine, but she killed Palpatine using his own hate and anger. And there's another thing with that we'll get to. We got time. But that was the Force bond, like, progressing all the way, and it was kind of cool. Like, I hold it up here, nobody's going to notice for a second, he's going to have it, and it's cool. Like, I kind of liked the concept that they built up on that. That was something that was completely theirs, that they did, and they trashed it, though. Like, to me, it just got trashed, because it should have been done and handled
better.
The rest of it around that should have been handled better, and there should have been some things to actually make sense to make that moment be able to even happen. Because if in realistic, the Knights would not have just paused and just let him sit there on one knee and have time. They wouldn't have. They would have continued the attack.
Yeah, that was like a 5-second pause, wasn't it?
It was like longer than that, I think. But that's my point, is like, they screwed it up by doing that.
And it's like, this is going on way longer than it should.
Yeah, and then he gets his lightsaber, and then he whoops their ass. Like, that's cool. Like, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm cool with that. Like, that's the whole point of giving him the weapon, is that way he can actually do something to them.
Yeah.
So I'm cool with that. That's fine. And then the Emperor... there's one last piece to the Force bond. Then the Emperor sucks on the Force bond and pulls it out of them.
Oh, yeah.
And heals himself. And as he's healed, did you notice that before he was healed, his robes was just black robes, kind of old and tattery. And then as he gets healed, his robes, once he's done, his robes are all freaking, like, pretty and everything. But he still looks like a shriveled old man. Like, with the way the healing and all that, if it can regenerate his fingers.
Wouldn't he look like he would in, like, episode 3?
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. If it can regenerate, like, chopped off, busted off fingers, and regenerate them back.
He just got, like, a little bit younger.
He should have been able to, like, heal a lot and fix a lot of the damage that happened to him, like, and look more like he did before he started looking all messed up because he was force lightning and everything.
Yeah, and why didn't he just continue to suck more force out of them to get, like...
Oh, he sucked the bond. It was the bond that he sucked out of them, so they no longer had the force bond.
So they don't have the bond anymore?
No, before the end of the movie, they didn't have the bond anymore. But by that point, we're at the end of the movie.
Oh yeah, and he's dead anyways.
Yeah, and he dies. So he sucked the force bond that was put into them out of him, and that was the last thing with the force bond. So we went over the force bond.
Okay, well this isn't with. Well, it's with this movie, but like all movies in general. Why do when they fall? Why do they always fucking have, like, their hand up? They always, like, like when, fucking Kylo fell in the crack or hole, whatnot.
When he ran and jumped into it?
No, when he fell. When he got blasted away by Palpatine, I think. And he fell down this hole, but then he comes back, just, like, with one hand, just,
dude, like climbing a ladder, man. You're holding on here, and you hook the hand here, and you come up out.
Yeah, but like all fucking movies do that. They can't just fall. They gotta like always rise up, like.
Because he had to save Rey. He had to give Rey his Force essence to bring her back from the brink of death. because Rey's the one that's supposed to live and not him, because he went Sith and dark side, just like Vader. Vader had to die too. He didn't actually have to die. Luke could have... It is known that he can keep himself alive on a damaged suit throughout with using the Force. Yeah. Luke could have used the Force to help keep him alive till they repaired the suit or put him in a bacta tank. Like, Vader didn't have to die. The only reason why he died is his suit got messed up because of Palpatine. His body physically, his rest of his body physically was fine. It was just the suit that had got screwed up, which kept him alive, you know. That is what got messed up. So they could have kept... Vader didn't have to die, but they allowed him to die anyway.
Well, you don't think Palpatine's lightning just fucked up like his...
It fucked up the suit. No, like it even says that the reason why he died is because the lightning shocked and messed up the suit. And that was one of Vader's weaknesses against Palpatine, was that the suit was able to be affected by Force lightning. That was how he was going to be able to make sure that he could keep Vader under his thumb.
Yeah, but that's for another episode.
Yeah, but the thing with... So then Kylo had to also die because he was the Vader. He was good, then he went evil, and then he comes back to the light side. But when they come back to the light side, they've already done all this evil crap, and everybody hates them, so they can't live, because if they live, everybody's going to try to pursue them anyway to kill them, regardless of what, or spend the rest of their life in prison or whatever.
Yeah.
And so they gotta die. So they usually have some kind of honorable, sad, but yet kind of happy moment of death, like Vader, like grandson, like father, like grandson. Ben Solo dies like Vader did. And he just fades into the Force. Because everybody can just fade into the Force now. Like, right away.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, there was moments, like, in the books where they didn't all always fade. Like, after Luke, like, all the Jedi start learning how to be able to fade into the Force when they die.
Yeah, like Episode 3...
No, I mean
after the massacre, you know.
Yeah, but I mean after Luke, in his training of his Jedi, he teaches them how to be able to do that. All the Jedi underneath of Luke are able to, like throughout the book series, are able to fade into the Force when they die. And it was really scary for Luke when Mara Jade died and she was assassinated, because she didn't go into the Force right away. Her body didn't. She waited until a person showed up, and then she disappeared because he was trying to give a clue that this person was the one that did it. But whatever. Back on point. Talked about the Force bond. What was the other thing? Okay, so now we got to get some stuff about going on with the ships and things. So then the second one, they call for help, remember? And nobody showed up.
Yeah.
Then Lando and Chewie go out and ask for help, and then everybody shows up. Okay? I mean, at that point, I could kind of see it because, well, crap, you know, but the Resistance is there and fighting. But here's something for you. This is what I want to know. We got starfighters that can blow up pretty much anything, right? If it's got shields, though, you know, depending on the shields, you might have to send in the ground force to take out the shield generator, right?
Yeah.
Why do we need to send in a ground crew to go and blow up a antenna that's gonna be able to guide everybody out, navigational beacon antenna, when a starfighter's turbo lasers or a proton torpedo could just as easily take that antenna out?
Yeah, they got all them ships. And how are they breathing on the ship?
Hold on. What do you mean?
When they're on the like they're
Oh, that's because they're still in the atmosphere.
Yeah, but they were really high up.
Not really. They weren't that high up.
Well, go to the highest mountain.
No, they weren't even that high up. They weren't that high up.
I'm pretty sure
you
they
can
were
breathe.
high up.
No, they weren't that high up. They really honestly weren't that high up, which is why when all the starships started to fall back to the planet because of Palpatine's lightning, they were falling really slow. Really freaking slow, when that planet apparently is pretty similar. I mean, should be pretty similar to regular Earth gravity. So, if they're falling super slow to the planet, like they should have started plummeting at an increase to 122 miles per hour fall to the ground very quickly, and they aren't 122 miles in the freaking sky. So, like, you know, there should have been a lot of ships that crashed because they weren't really that high up. They weren't. Maybe as high as, you know, a couple of, I'd say maybe the one would have maybe been 10,000 feet, but I doubt it.
They look like they're on the cusp of, like, space.
No, there's what you got your normal, and then where our airplanes fly.
Yeah. Where
our airplanes fly, our big 747s, 37,000 feet. Okay, that would have been an issue. But that means that they would have been much smaller from the ground than what they were. They were not. They were not that far up. I wouldn't say that they were probably more than 5,000 or 6,000 feet in the air at most. Like, some of them ships weren't even a full ship length above the surface of the planet.
What?
Some of those ships weren't even a full ship if you stand it upright. And I've already established that those ships are nowhere near as big as the other Star Destroyers from the Empire, because they can't be, because the X-Wings didn't change. The X-Wings didn't change, and the X-Wings were flying over them Star Destroyers in the old ones, and they were flying over them, and these ones, they're just like skipping right on by, like it's nothing.
Well, so they do got them cannons.
I know. So that's the thing, is like, these ships aren't as big. They look big, but they're not as big as what the old ships were, and they just weren't that high up in the atmosphere yet. And that whole navigational beacon thing really is weird. Like, why do they need a navigational beacon to get off of the planet? Like, unknown regions of space isn't this whole, like, fiery thing like they went through. The entire space isn't that. Like, whatever they would have went through on that whole little orange, like, run that they went through, that would have been, like, one little section. Unknown region of space is the same as all the other parts of space, except that it has a lot of random gravity wells, black holes, debris of busted planets and asteroids and things that are unpredictable.
That's going to be on a...
That makes it hard to hyperspace jump, because it's unpredictable.
Yeah, it's unknown.
That's the reason why it's so hard. Not because it's some weird orange freaking, like, I don't know what the heck that was supposed to be, deal. Like, I don't get it. And on top of it, you have some ships that show up to that fight, right? That are way too big to even be able to go through that whole orange, like, run through all the twisting, winding. There's some of them things that are like medical frigates and shit that showed up. They're huge. They would never have fit through that.
Well,
that run.
They could have went a different way.
The little Carillion Corvette. But, like, the unknown regions of space is like, looks like regular space. It's like a more messed up version of, like, the Kessel Run if you read the book. that's more what the unknown regions of space is like. So I don't get what they were going for with that. Like, that wasn't a ship. A ship should be able to take off and go without any issue from a planet, no matter what size it is. Like, if you built it on the planet, it should have the stuff you need to get off the planet. Otherwise, there's no point. And it's a navigational beacon. It's not like it's some thing to help boost them into the space. It's just a guide. Why do they need guidance to turn their ship and blast up into space? Straight up. Like, you can see everybody else. I don't need a freaking pole with a thing on it to tell me I need to go that way.
I don't know. Maybe they had
It's just horrible writing.
They were like, maybe they had their ships locked.
Horrible writing, because what they needed is they needed a reason to have Finn involved in that part, because in all actual honesty, Finn's not a pilot. Finn's not a pilot. So putting Finn into a starfighter on a mission for starfighters doesn't work. And we have to have Finn in there.
He could have been a gunman, like he has been.
Yeah, but no, he needs to be a main leading role because he's replacing Lando.
Is he?
Yes, he's replacing Lando's position. Lando and Chewie are going off, he's replacing him. Okay, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it like South Park. He's token. He's the token black guy in the movie. I know people are going to hate that, but
I have no idea what that means.
He's the one black guy in the movie that they got to have in the movie for ethnic diversity.
Oh, yeah, okay, I guess.
Okay? It's really some racist shit from back in the day that's screwed up and messed up, like, so that's why they got him in there in the first place. And it's fucked up, because I actually kind of, Finn has his moments of naivety, but he's actually pretty cool to me.
Yeah.
But the thing is he don't have a place in that last battle unless you have some dumb ground mission, because he's a ground soldier. And you have to have some dumb ground mission because there's always some ground soldier that's one of the main characters.
Yeah.
But the thing is unlike Han, Finn can't fly. So unlike Lando and Han, because both Lando and Han were smugglers, right?
Yeah.
And scoundrels and things, both of them were that, and they both had the ability to fly and to fight. So Lando was better at flying than he was at fighting. Han could do both, and, well, flying way better than fighting, but Han could do both effectively. So Han was on the ground mission at Endor to take down the shields. And on top of it, they were trying to, again, steal something from the original movies and put it in there. But Poe is the new Han, Finn is the new Lando. That's the way it is, except that they reversed the roles and sent Finn to the ground. So they sent Lando to the ground, they sent Finn to the ground, and they sent Han in the sky. That's the dang thing that they did. But that ground mission doesn't make any sense. I would have liked something different than that. Like, for real, legit. Like they got some shield generators or something that actually needs to be taken out by ground forces to stop it. Because there is no shield generator. You don't need a ground force to blow up that antenna. You have starships with proton torpedoes and turbo lasers. 3 of them would demolish it. 1 would take it out. 1 starfighter. As a matter of fact, one of our F-16s could destroy that tower. One of our lowly little F-16s that's got nothing compared to the kick that a freaking starfighter has in it could take out that tower. Okay? So, you're telling me that we gotta send a ground force to blow it up? No. I feel like it's disrespectful to the whole concept of Finn to even do that crap.
Yeah.
He didn't need to.
They could have had all the ships firing at that one ship, honestly.
Yeah, they could have had all the ships just come in real quick and blast that thing, and it's done. Like, they needed to give him a better mission. Something that he actually could have, and then they had the animals from the planet that they got the stuff from the Death Star on.
Oh, yeah.
So what, they loaded up all the animals in the Falcon? There's not enough room in the Falcon for all those animals for them to ride. So I don't know how they got those animals off of the planet. Would they call in backup to come down and get them and those people too to fight? Like, they had to have got another ship to pick them up somehow. And they did that super fast to be able to still make it there and deal with the mission.
Priorities.
And come up with a plan for the mission beforehand.
Gotta have priorities, man.
Like, it was bad, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I was kind of disappointed with that whole thing. I'm like, none of this, like how you were with, like, Finn and Rose going on the side mission.
Yeah.
How that was just completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
The whole thing with the ground mission and taking out that tower, completely unnecessary. Completely unnecessary. They could have swung in there with their starfighters, lined up some shots, took that freaking guidance tower out within the first minute.
Yeah.
They would have never had the chance to reroute the signal because the starfighters could have came in and launched a couple of proton torpedoes at it, and it's destroyed.
Yeah, they didn't need to be on the ship.
Yeah, they didn't need to be on the ship. They didn't need to be in a ground landing team. The whole thing didn't need to exist. They put it in there, and it didn't need to happen, and they should have had a better thing to put them in. Like, I could understand if they come up with some other freaking mission that they needed to do. Anything. But, I mean, like, put a fucking shield generator over it. Put a shield generator over it that you can't get through with starfighter power. I mean, you're already stealing the concept from the old Star Wars anyway. Just put a shield generator over it.
Yeah.
We can't blow it up because we don't have the shield. We can't get through the shields because it's got a shield generator, and we don't have that kind of time. So we got to drop a ground force in that can walk through the shield the shields, and take out the tower. It was bad. Like, I would have actually liked to seen Finn come into his own as a stormtrooper and a general, like, actually get to do that. And I felt like that kind of just...
Yeah. Well, moving on from that, what about Chewbacca getting the medal at the end of the movie? How do you feel about that?
That was stupid.
Yeah, I don't think that was necessary. And honestly, if it wasn't fucking her,
I mean, it's probably like a medal from the first movie.
Yeah.
But it was...
Well, like, why?
Yeah. Like,
Why?
here, Chewbacca, remember all of your dead friends? That's what it was like for me. Like, I'm going to hand him a medal to remind him of all of his dead friends because now every one of his friends is dead.
Remember that day? All those people are gone now.
I mean, it's going to happen. Chewie knows it because he's going to live longer than everybody else.
Yeah, they can live.
He lives up to like 500 years. They can live a while. So, I mean, but the fact is, like, here you go. Well, I guess he's still got Lando. He does still have Lando.
Was he in that?
Lando was in the last one. Yeah, he went with Lando.
Or what? Did Lando get the medal too? Was he part of the group that got the medal?
No, but he still has Lando as a friend from that time.
Oh, yeah.
So then we gotta hurry up here. So then we got that. So now let's see. So at the end of the movie,
Rey Skywalker.
with the Rey Skywalker thing,
Dumb.
right? So one, she gets red 5. Oh yeah, that's what it was. So Luke Skywalker just pops up as a Force ghost and catches his father's lightsaber, not his, because is a different one, but whatever. Catches his father's lightsaber and stops it from being thrown into the fire and being destroyed. Hands it back to her, gives her a pep talk, pats her on the back, and pulls his starfighter out of the freaking sea, and they clean it up, and she has to take quite a lot of time cleaning it up, but she still manages to miraculously be able to clean it up in time to make it there to the battle when they got like only a couple of hours left. Whatever. So, but I liked Red 5 came back.
What's Red 5?
Red 5 is Luke's X-Wing.
Oh.
Luke's X-Wing's Red 5. The only X-Wing in the entire Disney trilogy that's a real X-Wing. That T-60, like the other ones I don't consider real. They're freaking don't make sense. It's the only one. Love that Red 5 came back. Okay? But now, why does Rey inherit the Millennium Falcon? If anything, it should have been Chewie.
Yeah.
2. So now she's got the Millennium Falcon and Red 5. Luke's X-Wing. We go to the planet, she's in the Falcon. I just hate it. It drives me nuts. The Falcon does not belong to her in my mind. It don't. I hate that. I got it out of my system. Now, she slides down there, she looks around Luke's old living quarters and house and everything, and then she goes and buries their lightsaber in their 2 lightsabers in the ground. And then the lady, and she pulls out her lightsaber, right? I think that maybe that's like the end of her staff, like she cut it off and made a lightsaber out of the end of her actual staff. But I'm not sure. But
Doesn't she still have her staff?
and that part, I didn't see it. When she got on the planet, I didn't see it. But then the lady asked her, nobody's been here in a long time, she was probably like 20 when Luke left. 40 years ago.
Yeah.
And then, she has that, she's like, who are you? And then she's like, and then she gets this sense from the Force, and then Luke and Leia's Force ghosts pop up like, yes, we will adopt you as ours, creepy.
You wouldn't want to go around having like the Palpatine name.
It would have been better. It would have been better to just be Rey Palpatine as who she was, who is now a light side. It would have been way more a better story. Just like Dylan said to me in the truck. Way better story if she would have been a Palpatine being a Jedi. The good side. Than trying to replace her name with Skywalker.
Yeah.
Because then, you could have a whole other story of her being a Palpatine and whatever dealing with a Palpatine being a Jedi thing. That would have been way better than she's now Rey Skywalker.
Well, I guess she kind of did that with Ben for his passing too, like a remembrance.
Yeah, you would think that Ben would show up in the Force too to her.
Yeah.
Because he Force ghosted, and yeah, he's not Skywalker, but he is.
Yeah,
he's Solo last
name,
Skywalker but blood. He still has Skywalker blood. He's part of the family. You'd think he would show up too, but no, it was just Luke and Leia.
Yeah, that's kind of dumb. Well, that was the wrapping up of the Rise of Skywalker.
It took a 3rd episode, but I'm only doing 2.
Well, we can revisit these in time. We'll catch you back next time on another episode. See you guys later.